interviews, the discussion. Do stay on. Stay tuned in as we bring you all of this and more. And don't miss out on any of the updates we'll be sharing with you. Quite a number of interesting stories back in the news. But before I start letting you know some of these things, Bell Hooks has something for us. It says, what we do is more important than what we say or what we say we believe. What we do is more important than what we say or what we say we believe. So the motivation message this morning says, it's one thing saying I want to do this, and it's another thing doing what you say you want to do. Because that is the most important thing. Many of us, we just run around making noise that we want to do this, we can do this. And do the thing, let's see now. We want the titles, they give it to us, and then we run away from responsibility, or we leave it to others to do. So just do it. That is the most important thing. You believe in something, yet you don't do anything about it, just as it is said in the Holy Book. Just as faith, you have it, and then you don't put it to use. It's what? You have to conclude that for yourself. So let's note this morning once more that whatever we do is very much important than what we say. Talks are just too much around. Let's put those words, those talks into action. And that's from Bell Hooks. My name is Joyce Jijo Afola. Welcome on board to the show. All right, phone lines will be activated when necessary, and when we do well to join the conversation. Catch us live on Facebook. Global 105.1 FM. Be a part of the family on Facebook. Follow us, like and share the link, and comment as well. Let's know where you are joining us from in any part of the country and the world. That is very much important to us right here on the show. Alright, so we know that quite a number of things have been happening lately, and when you check the portals, there are a lot of them. When you visit the papers as well. Here in the municipality, there was a press conference by parents of model, that is the regional model school. They have some concerns they have raised in a petition they presented to the regional minister, whom was not available, and the assistant director won't have to receive the petition on behalf. I have all the updates. We are still seeking to speak with the municipal education director, of which the explanation is you'd have to seek for clearance sort of from the regional directorate for her to be able to comment on this. So those concerns are all live here, and also back in the news is Honorable Sarah Ajwa Safo. And you know why? I remember those days during the E-levy period where we have to bring the sick from the hospital. When someone wasn't in the country, we have to bring in another lady to impersonate her. We've not been able to fish out that lady. Now we are calling on someone who said a daughter of a murderer. Now we are calling him to own up. And up to now, we haven't heard from Parliament on that one as well. She's back in the news anyway. And there is a good news for Okada riders, all our Okada riders, as well as Keke people. There is also a news for you because a committee has been set to look into your work, the legalization of your operations, and also the scrubbing of the e-levy. You know, the bill has been laid in Parliament. And by March, we're hearing something. The details are also on. And this conversation around the Blue Water Initiative, that's the water guard. You remember yesterday we were here, we had a few of our bites on that story. It's still on the space that people are talking about. Many believe it's just an opportunity to waste money. How sustainable is this? How much are they going to be paid that will sustain those people? And in the long run, we'll not rather go join in the Galamsey. Well, when the issues come, it's just okay for us to be able to have an open mind on all the developments and digest them in the best interest of the country. That is very, very important for all of us to take note of. It's one thing understanding what is happening and analyzing them objectively, being assertive and pass your honest judgments on all of those stories. Mepenya salama don dina me vamia pe ya vala 105.1 Global FM menye egbanye kuda pejinu eton fen keke wi asie kele ale fe akpebla vevo aton le me eye onye monu popo nambe eye won la sinye kwa megale mogbo benemaga ahenya jojo eyi wo jole mi anto mi agbo eyi wo jole duko papa yo kami ve vien kwa na wa do mi agbo le mi afe ya vanlaji mi le mi agbo kakava sede ga wo ndi ya ga wo fe popoko mi a acho ademobe wana bubu na wa va mi agbo mi egbo ebe mi afe unse do amenya ndi ya ko gbogbo be mi afe nu fofo mi afe nu wawa nu yo mi gbo na be mi wa o le fe vin de wu nu yo mi wo na le fe de wu nu yo mi gbo be le mi awo pa pele nu yo mi khose la be ne ho na ne ji se e mele nti do wo mu wa enye nu fufulu alo enye nu jojoro yike wo mnele ata o abe mi adede nu o jiwo fofo apoto mi akọ nu mo kata ko ade do wo me na abe ne ko de do wo me afi ma vidie acho ave na otagbe a ye ga nye mi ape unse do me nya be mi a ade jesi be nu yo mi e wona mi ape nu wa wo le ve viere cho wo e yo ko mi eglo na tan ake mi meten ko de ke ko de do wo mel ble nu chocho vo yiwo ano mi ape ya bana ja cho iva ye a jilao na regional model school odogo kple nya chocho do walao ope hele yike la kota na onye ope fefe sese kuro vi ohun le suku ma dego eye wo kwa agbanle do de amuganu to aji kpola ameike meno ife do fe cho kake amenye fi abo me kwa agbanla o deji po na obe eme undo akọ mia penya sala leji ya mia ko ahe wonama avena me kple bubu gede yiwo ehia bene wado mia gbo the full details. That's a parent, to be specific. Mr. Emmanuel Kwesi Adenyo was also part of the press conference yesterday. Come and see how the parents were cladded in red bands, arms, and everything just to symbolize how serious they are in making sure that their concerns being raised are addressed by the regional minister. He, stepping in and making sure that all the concerns that I will soon bring out. I think as like pada kwenye ma miese na chope wana yike kude regional model school nti age lawo hofa kwenye vevie kude ale ile wopenya noa Municipal Education Director Dr. Esther Ajo Yebua Ajima ele enudem PTA nyame alo eho PTA topenu wa honsen le yosi kokofu akole yan topenu wom le yope nyadedenu egbule don gobe no joale a mmese na kpare ka ko chunya mo na be nyame chofo mieva asa kpa vel. Like according to the protocols, for us to be able to hear from the two sides, she would have to be granted approval to comment on this development, and she has not been given that approval yet. As and when it's being given, Miaga resurrect this issue because it's a pending issue. Menyen keke vepenu jojoyo nu yo kata hian be mia sele ya chegbo akwa kokpe jila oto ya Mia Ase. But these are the concerns of the parents, where they are decrying the unacceptable interference of the Municipal Education Director in the PTA affairs. So parents and stakeholders of the regional model school in a press conference have expressed deep frustration over the Municipal Education Director, Dr. Esther Joyebua Ajima's unnecessary interference in the PTA, leading to financial mismanagement, declining educational standards, and unjustified transfer of qualified teachers. Key issues include the suspension of a fair PTA election, the introduction of a fee-paying computer program, and imposition of arbitrary examination fees. Dr. Yebua threatened parents, according to them, and children for raising concerns. Parents demand the regional minister's intervention to restore PTA independence, investigate mismanagement, uphold election results, and halt unnecessary transfers. They also call for an engineering audit of school projects and the retrieval of illegal fees. In a petition to the regional minister, the parents of the regional model school are demanding the following from the regional minister. They demand that the regional minister intervene and halt the interference of the Municipal Education Director of the office in PTA affairs, demand a full investigation into the mismanagement of PTA funds by the current PTA administration. They're also demanding that the results of the PTA election held in May last year be upheld and officer duly sworn in. Demand the reversal of all unnecessary teacher transfers since the Municipal Director of Education indicated they were transferred for sharing information with parents. Demand the retrieval of the illegal fees charged for the computer classes that were objected to by parents. The PTA has finally appealed to the media, the civil society, and concerned stakeholders to support the call for justice and demand an immediate response from the Municipal Education Directorate. They are therefore inviting well-meaning Ghanaians to come to the aid of the school and help take it to the true model of basic school education in the region. The PTA went on to further plead with the minister to help complete the abandoned JHS block, which is becoming a death trap for the students. Mr. Yahuza Demiri, Assistant Director 1, VRCC, received the petition on behalf of Mr. Gono. He has promised to present the letter to RM as soon as he returns and assured them that swift actions will be taken in addressing their concerns. And they have given a 1 month ultimatum. And if nothing is being done about their petition, they haven't said what they will do next. But they say until then, they are only given up to 1 month. You me apenya sela okpo de eya echomi antom ya pen to megbo mi a chonto ma pia adicha gere tepe bubuo yenye suku inko me yodongo suku via ope jilao yenye regional model school jilao echoa ope mo obia odogo le jento me be iwade ope fefese se agblona du kometo du aja de ale le wope nyanua habobo ye no na miape suku kpoji inye the parent teacher association minye be gade me a ever zo PAs parents association ya ever no anyi gade me mi se ya mi no konyo fare unvovo ta yo wa kweta kpekpe, that's the parent teachers association be municipal education director epenu wo mele yoji dem le habobo amel enye yoji lao kple nufia lao fe habobo gake director eva elenu de yo fenu wo me alegbegbe ike wo fifi ebe asibubulu de gam opete vaje mododa yo fe gao o me la konta gobuire kena yo mana the other side sege akonta boguire kenale yo fe ganwo gaole bank yo benya make our signatories to those accounts o no yo le ji mo le nu chocho na yo eyo ga deje si ha be agban le sosro nu fafia dodu metoy ha ele didim eye wo ga deje si ha be o le teacher de yo alunu fiala yo jilado khwesebe o ha dodo wo fia nu ale gbegbe doko lo dem jele suku ako eyike yo bia tasia a director na yo nyabe yi na be no de woda lo penyanu plus sube la be yo nenem nu fiala mawa o le nu chocho ike mejebo wa chona jilao wa o le chom ele jilao nam ta obe yo le babiam cho regional minister boy ko kwa agban la ko yido de cho abe a petition ko present na regional minister oga de jesi ku hia de wo ha be PTA no fiala ojila ope haboboa yo da ko ewa yo fe tatia o akoike yo da last year akoda mecho no betere ko va futu ko aba mere duji tacho. I have a whole pamphlet with me with the election results and the various latest they have also written petitioning officers, the regional office, the municipal office for some response on some of the issues yo degblo bewa nye pedojinu na nya yo gblo yo lea. So they came with some paperworks that arrived before me. And came to me choivai. Me penya sala leji me odo ebe viento le election e chepa akpaji ke nusi anu zonwe ne ke me do modal doko amerikare choko Mr. Beglan beyenya meike eno akodanya ojikpom apeto William Godsway William Beglan doko choko egabo akoda da memenyo mi agbugbo le nkuro modu asiji ko no meba so na yo tututu yo wenye ofe ku hia o do metode o yo le de nglobe akoyo da last year me no agbugbo nku wado ase mecho no oje la be meme ko na wa agbugbo le nku de ya me yo onye jidu lawa na wa aho la bode jesi be the former executives of PTA do kokoko gale no dem yo fe nyao mela be yo ha o vi o choma gale suko ta yo me ba semele yo fe wo fe aga no the current PTA fe nyao mo ko nyao ba sogbotan yo va hia be mia ase amei won le nya chodo ha pa kpaji hafi o vai be o eje bene wa ho no chocho acho amei gale ngone yenye the regional directorate ademone be ne wa akọ nyadeka evede wo wonti ke wole babiam cho regional minister gbobe ne wa agede emena yewo anabe ale ike the municipal education director ale nu de yo nu fiala jila ope habobo me a ne tote ne wanye yo fe nyako o galeji yimbe ne wa wo nu mekoko kude ega vivivivi yo fuofu ekoko wa lo dodo le suku ale ike ga o le zazama me le jije na yo wa nu wonu mekuku no wa kpofi ne ga o le toto me we fasi me ega wo le me ka da si agbalanta po de ega ko wa nu imele nyanya me na yo eye akọ dada pe nya bele ike me gbre ni a be na do asieji abe yo ho esebe yo po jidudu yo po jidula hafi ovai jebe afeto ife nkome yo nya afeto Gospel William Begla fe nu wo alfe nya gbogbolo eva wo ebe amei ke bon mekpo jidudu o fe nya nu a eya ova ko unsena ike wono pa ko dame ekodada nya mena yo ojibe meneko ne jiedula le maya ne wa akpo swearing in alwa due ne wa nye yo pe nu nola. So the analysis of the result declared on Thursday the 23rd of May 2024 at Regional Model School Complex iha elafi may you dako organizer you have 1 2 3 4 kolepe akodada mecho no pete ta okata onye nu ike ochoda si be yo akodo pe yo fe nya oji o galeji yimele domde nya jojo dola o civil society abobo yo education fe nya oka plen to meto sian be no wa pede yo be yo ike wo mi yo la ne wa po emme vava eyoga miasi du kometo de sian de ike die bagban le sronya no twa for le du kome kwa no agere suku aji no awalo dodo na yiwo alabena yo here alo dodo alegbegbe ho tutu ade han le ji im le suku poji no wa pede yo regional minister ne pede yo no ne wa pogwo be homa etu na deviao opesazan eke odo VRCC ya ocho agbala na afeto Yahuza Demiri assistant director 1 ameke no dopa eyo naka kande jibe regional minister ya trok bole ko yakwa agbala ko now eyo no ho chebe New York atan hia bene wa wokudo pa agbala nkwa blope ha hia ku hio kata nkwa no popo mebe regional minister awo etosinu gome yanye akpa ike mie edo le mi ape suku denyao agbale sosron no fafia le regional model school mepe nya sala mi degbo opa kpaji miese me dere du come togbo mi ayi le kpuere ko meke mi adoto no leda nyi ike cho apeto Emmanuel kwesi adenyogbo ne mi trogbo a mava yiji na mi no toji
Madira ba enyana va apakata gbo do lan kudan ayi nya va apagbo a e ma woro committee ba no garama o kwara ba nye o ko gbona de ama constitutu a ayi o garama o ko ba mama ko ite o ba nan jojo apa ba nui agbona ama mako ta mi da shin na mi anto nya za ba ape ba computer adara sukwa afia e to mava amado la ba nui a bo yakove do ma hi onye ru na yo a ira bolo ngma na yo ba fa sa paganto enya ya ai ni ba ko ba akamachi na lihoho obo yi hada yi jabra nya na ma oba achida katara no ka biro nya bira ta mana ma ta kala ba wonna mo nyako amaye yi obi ha ma ho amu ko na nya ba afi amuru na ko yo tepa no chao ha ala bo ono nkule na yo nchi abapora kaso ina afi ora shi donji now ai mi ba dako voma gba mi ba po ba susuma ye la woshi ita ba shi na gba amaye yawo kwata ho do hom haraka wo aji ha nya ba mi ba po ba do ko ba shi la dogbo mi ga wo pomo mi ba bia chamanta oba azomo oh kama susore ya maraka pomo kami la fia atamala nyashi la regional model school complex susuma te mi fuzuira principal director to bobode no vala fu ya nami akai over wo bo ngo ba kwa bango nyakle over pa sukara wo wazo amoji miela o le banya do committee la tabwe pama ika over po apodadaji akodagbe a nyama romia dangdu na ba ni wo blow na nguna yinwe daka wo masamra ka ba dangdu do alebo yo we wonwa iwo enye demo ha we lenu wo a o yo ka da moto wo amasha popopolo la ba tukara ka mozo amara ka masna ballot box o amara ka madu ballot paper alaba ye kwe ba yo kata anya jashiba akodada ayi nwe awon kuba ayo krakoda davo oyo mo yoduji oyo mo yokaji odu ama yoji odu a amafakwe da kona amafa oyi unopposed akama yoji odu a amarakazo osuso amaraka asuso a aba pra amerika duji foto oli nya kofia ka aji yenya ba amerika yento no koda daji aba referee na yento na ba dagba pa ba ye kpoba akoda da kagara adakama asubopa eba o jilana ni e pa fiwe la sukua ye jilana ni e vota pepa ye jilana ni e dako ye na kweba asubopa o jimanola amia na ofia adza ba wonto na za petition na won na amare ka bia petition ta mayina na ma ta ka ha mi ma poje sure kala fuma ba amare ka se vava bia no petition no komika tamika kala nti fa fama le zo poma ka abale mi ato ogbule baye na kaka pide magbako lukonya di holi ba mo repetition amafa ko da kona ka amafa yojo dude o dum tan repetition na mi e fa da shina gba mi ma sere je ba america play ho ba chairman na ye nwule lo alo america play ho aba organizer na ye nwule ya ba miao aba abo boy na prola magala miasio nye chama ye yugo no do liu gaka amahokwo uma ashidama donchina amaye yawo ava jeba education director municipal education director towa wo eva nya mokan la wonayama ye we ba mi ma tanwa kara amahokwo nchi over hanover na amaye yawo ta minister na dagbana municipal education office to ba na nya wo we do asi hani overgia kanu ko paji na yima te won po amahokwo wo hanover na amaye yawo a kan mi ade no dagbana amaye yawo no ze dogoma amen no mo shi o kala ha bo shi le pomaji ya no kwe da o shi no ze dogoma mi manya maka wanya signature so le banko amo etini ato wo for signature na gada bank amo ho to na dogo a minister na facilitate ni anani eji nyela project get farm project for instance ikeje story bed ikeje JSS sukwala project ma na yifi a poba gada du alaba ma na nyaba nyame ka fo na ma logara ko ma be anonya so no mi ekuku dan na minister ba na zai pamsa na okunma contractor ke do ma won na doga na shima ka no dogbe opli ogble no wu do man na regional model school to ka ayi ka wo mi ato ha mi la abajila wo na ale do yi me a do fo nan mi fun so han abaku khina mi jibe minister na kan daga mahama Mienya ba West Department or RCC. Na do wa ba poto ko ba to ma de ala do do nwa. Atso e bona de ma da fu na mi avio na mi wo so nwa na engineer na do dang na mi so atoma hanchi. Ba mi go glomba ayo ko computer ko yeta via ba computer ba we mi gba ba ale ko bona ma nyu. Kaka o ko pasesa ko computer ko fa poji. Ayo ko evia mi gbata mi ga nya bo ko bona. Aka yo ko evia o va jimi avio ji. One of the class by force. Aye agaka lang CDN na. Anytime they get a computer lab kwa 4 CDs. Lui zonye ba mi avio ko buga. Koko the class mine. Manye mi aweka fa. Na mai o yenya ma. Yes. Ba zaba ko sukwa ko pitié. Da koko the second ba ye ntwena nyenya ba. Project ya kala pitié shi. Nya starable de ka tutumye la. Contractor fudam na ye ishek wa ga bia bi na fa na ye bia nya ba project ma manya GS project manya government project jilawe do won nya ko ga manya we disperse na Ghana mi o nu ka tai contractor ba ga bia won we ya ta ayo nya ba contractor ba ga bia me kwa ye egba nya ba kama chumali nya sa ba o yo bla we ra kon yo ba contractor ba we ra la yo mu kwa Kafiaba Avako, PTA, la model school, Cocoda Sake, Ulayan Toshi.
It's the Global Morning Show. Global Morning Show.
All right, so that is it. Not to leave any stone unturned. Miga say Akpamake, the other parents, Bo, Gado, Hede Majeji, computer classes, pay. Kpele nyawo pete enyawo sogbo ike wa hia be ne wonye enyawo lemea elebe regional minister kpele pe wumo regional education directorate municipal education directorate okata wanu anyi wa kpome eyenu yiwo hia medede yiwo hia wa agede jila gbole babiam chebe yo video abale ike apeto ekwesi Emmanuel Gblene Ohe computer classes gado ike on toko nana be de view they compel them to pay those monies no nyobo you school de na le on top and gama go here but since oko computer ma oko cover school de majeji enwume ko regional directorate na gbogbo ko computer oko dre na be mo yo ko to cover bu ibenye personal ojibe no diga na amede kade ye ogbolo nya fitifiti ade na yo bo GS that sideji choge yo via the regional office yo o won me koko awde obenu fo agba nojo de vio hefe do le mai obi abe no agbugbo abuga ma opete na wako de vio ope ega agbugbo akona ta wenye momye ese ma nyo be this kind of banter no mi ape no fiala pele mi ameyo hele suku inya gban le sosron pele no fo afia pe nya oji pomo Amepedo ta flat so na mesiamo, but if you are doing your work, especially an institution like this, the kawo ngome de transparency, accountability, anwanyi on the both sides. Be no si anu no watonwa azonwe fifi ala kple jilao ano de kawo me no fi ala jilao kpakple sukuta to opete jawa no de kawo me be nyo pete anabe de viao wa vai achi anyo no tepe wala na jilao la pe mo gblonya ya over school over le mi akpore leke mi hosebe de viao no yo kpoi. These are some of the things mi mega angen kufujio mia ano mo hehi de wonti. So the call to the regional minister, you need to expedite your actions and response on this letter presented to you. Eye nu yokata wa ahia bene wa awokwa ne wa awobe, all the concerns will be resolved. Ben me kok enu me na kona me sia makpave opete kplakpa ton pete be de vio wa gaija moma va jovio de le sukwa population avaje dididi because I believe just last week someone was telling me about this school that they do so well and all of that. So hearing this one as a person, I'm just saying this one as a person, not as a, the presenter of the show. It's some way. So menyo benu yo tong benu ano jim le mi ape suku po jio mi akọ dada figbo eye nenye be monu pokpo heva valo de mona the municipal director ada nye be mi akọ de ye ka jilo alo ava home eye mi a agede nyawo me deka nume kokọ ye ko nwa to wan kokwa ne wa akọ na mi be amesia me pe susume a ne wa akọ ne le nyaya wanted. These are serious allegations being leveled against the director of the municipal education. So regional directorate, please, it's important you give that approval as soon as possible for us to be able to clear the air on these issues, these very important issues. Mi edakbe mi ape nyaselaw de mi ape torudo talakbai. Keleji ya mia agede akpa bubuade ike me kata fuli. We're moving on to the next one that I have touched on. But before I touch on that, I know some of you are so eager to know who your MMDCs are. Nyame do ele jijina me klik ba ve viere. Baby je mi anya mi afe mo me fiao. Megede me ho sebe this ano a delay alea. Ale ikenu ochwa for the vetting processes, application, the vetting, the national vetting. From the minister in charge for local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs. Elek Bogbolombe Nume Kukuo investigation shows that people's names were added without being shortlisted after the constituency vetting. Elek Bogbolombe Amo Penko You todo do me vode. Open call Omevai egede the last list of Nemo. Eike o wonu metete navo. You open me koko me say me na minya jurade regbe be joda magbea o yina de gen. Me yo adaklu me yo kpetoe. Me yo all the regions o ma ora kpave. Oye Monday and Tuesday la open vetting. The other regions so how oto. Me apenya sela. Ke do wala na tepiale Bogbolombe. Yo open me kukuele de defia be has shown that I'm open call omeko were added without being shortlisted. Okwa medo open call kokpere nkon. Eke yo krare. Yo kra. Ope and metete whole way we're not part. Ta efiabe lakpaya anye kukia odometoreka as to why vasene fifia ikenye keke wi asi ekelia legletia mea mi me kpose ama ope nko hadel benegbe mi abase ope nko still eya medogo fine nko ocho gbogbo va gede agbanle aji eike wonu metoto na mauvo iwonu metete na mo ohia be let me produce names, final names of 3 persons each for the final approval. Ikacho president gbo ele ovajoyi be sector minister yon tobe yo gbova yo open mekuku yo vale de fiabe am open call okwa kokpede nko yeke ome short list wo fin open call cho after of various constituency vetting over. One thing wabemia adi be wase menwe benwo meno akona du me vio chito a ahia be mia vai agere nyama pe akpama. And now back to the very news ike dokomekata fully Yekude, the honorable, a former MP. Na dom kwabenya. Ele mi apenya jojome. Yo he enya Vivian do de go. Nya yo he de go adu meto de ka. Ne ka de jibe. Eka o Vivian enye le. I levi pere I yome. Minya ebe. Wo ape no ya bene gbogbo trova du come. No have no part of voting exercise. You can they'll get the numbers. I came no do come. Oh we. Otomon vovo. Boboto Kennedy Japan edova. Mo yo katan no jioto a na mi sego mega ke gbere nan worked. Eya ele no fom. Eyo gbole pele kakade jibe meti yo, me ve yo. Kra be you no part of the e-levy voting no. Vonye kpakpli o mi no du kokeme. Sa otakpepe melo. Just yesterday, 2 days ago. Ole no phone code security ole sa otakpepe me. They are calling for the construction of a new clinic or hospital. Some people are in support, others are not in support. It is that same parliament. Yon toten demo. Ba met sagade never bubono yofe chamber. Ne do nose mask. Ne doa wu ne jirado ene abe. Inye gojejele mi afe seji. The very people who le se wanamilo. Ofe ngochigbo ko yanu ya jolly. If she was not part, then who was that woman? There are several allegations. One businessman brought money to bribe MPs up to now. Make more businessman. Levy. Obenyon de valo. Who is she? Ozume. O defeat Ella Yapan Lampeteges. Everywhere. It's all over. The internet does not forget. Ego de nyayak blovoa. Since the internet does not forget, to me view go throw it megbe. Bek je ele wo joy. If you are telling us today that your decision to abstain from the voting on the electronic transfer levy in 2022, you don't regret that act of yours, then who was the woman? Ikeva not fair. Parliament should be telling us something. Parliament. Me apese watak bepeme in Lolao, the 8th Parliament. No chinya denami. And let's call the majority then, because they had +1. To bow down their heads in shame. Be o ten to mo de siande no. He jaye. He kula fe no ade kokova. Egbela ogbe ahia be no ava de no menami. Mekenye nenem afenoma. Meka de mone. Hafi wo gede me. Just because you need numbers, and you are now telling us that you need security in parliament, when you are breaching your own security in parliament, you just have to give Ghanaians some break, our honorable members. It's high time you want to the sosokple do fe mi nami. Abedu me vio ene. Let me adebu buto hemianu. awanu yiwo adefinami just to impose e-levy on us. One of the policies he received stiff opposition from the public. Na wava avagbolo enyade nami. Eye me hoi sebe mi ape todo lao ha. O da sede jibele ya me anyo ba beno avagbolo nyade nami. If they are not able to fish out, to identify, to bring to the public who this woman is, so, and they are calling be someone who has passed a comment on the floor of parliament. Ikemienya kotwe nemyobete mile habobo menamede gbolonyade Amerike lengo Amerike lemegba Amerike la haja Amerike ele egbo tututu nyame fe anyame efegbe anyanya igogbo Amerike gbolonya. Oga gave ultimatum. Our parliamentarians, led by Right Honorable Speaker Albert Sumana Kisford Bagbin, many people believe in your leadership. That anyo bemi azore nyayaji akodi nenem nyonuya. Eye ne kuku ade nami a bedume viewe ne a ne wa ade kuku nami. Mi apenya selao okondi ato sedafi. Mia IG ahola mesenya o. Minotoji nami. Awareness creation on tuberculosis. Yenye miape tanya le lamme semino nya pakpaji. Mi da kpebe bi le mi agbo ega no toji na wona pe akpaya. Mi anovi kecho whole teaching hospital. Marius Mote Sepenu. Yenyam hey awo egba penu fafia na mi. Tamia no toji mi asenu yo. Ohia be mi aga kodo nkuje na mano newa. Lakpaya. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing well.
I'm fine, are you too?
Sure, I am
Thank God.
doing well. Okay, so the awareness you want to create this morning on tuberculosis, we want to find out the very things that we need to know as people.
Okay. Tuberculosis infection is is the deadliest infection ever, and simply it is a common name or acronym that we give it as TB. That's an abbreviation, TB, which is also known as tuberculosis.
Okay.
This is an infection that is an airborne infection, and it usually affects the lungs of human beings and some animals as well. So any disease that is airborne, it means it is a communicable disease. That means it is rapidly spread when one coughs. So it's a droplet infection, and that is the main reason why 24th March is set aside to celebrate or create awareness on TB. And this year's awareness theme is yes, we can end TB, commit, and yes, we can end TB. That is this year's awareness message.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have a day celebration, 24th of this month, and this morning you are here to educate our listeners. So, what are the causes, the various causes? Are there some direct causes of tuberculosis?
Yes, the main cause of tuberculosis is when you come into contact with someone that is having the infection. And also when you live in a community where this infection is very common, then you can say that you are very prone to this infection. So people who are coughing and they have been diagnosed of TB, there are some measures that they are supposed to put in place. If those measures are not put in place and you are around them, you are highly susceptible to contracting this infection.
Okay, so when you find yourself around people who are already, so those people, how did they get it before you find yourself around them and also be contracted or infected with TB? That's what I want to know.
Oh, okay. Just like many diseases or infections that we are aware of, how the infection comes about, mostly we are not able to tell.
All right.
But how it is spread, we are able to tell. The natural cause of the disease is what maybe we cannot tell. But we know that when one is diagnosed of TB infection, this is how it is spread. When you come into contact with the person who has been diagnosed already, then we can say that you have contracted TB. It's just like you were asking me, how does HIV come about? I cannot tell how it came about, but I can tell you maybe the year that it was diagnosed for the first time.
Okay.
But the natural cause, that one, there's no information on that.
All right. So we don't know the exact cause of it, and but you can get it from people who are already
Yes.
infected with TB. So
Yes.
what are some of these measures you earlier talked of that?
Okay.
If you don't have them in place, you're
Okay.
susceptible to.
Before we talk
TB.
about the preventive measures, let me talk about the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
When you observe that you have been coughing, even just a day, you have been coughing, you have to come to the hospital for screening. But cases where maybe you don't come to the hospital, you have gone for treatment. Maybe you are put on antibiotic treatment or cough mixtures and those things. And after a week, the cough has come again. Another week, the cough has come again. It means you are living with this cough for more than 2 weeks or more, even 1 month. Some people can be coughing for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. They are just buying the medicine from the pharmacy and all those things. When you have experienced all these things, then you have to come and screen for tuberculosis, which is also a type of cough, upper respiratory infection. You understand? So even a cough for a day, you should come. Then if you also observe that you are losing weight, you are eating all right, but you are losing weight, then you should also come. So the main signs that we deal with are cough and weight loss. So anytime there are these two, or even one of them is in place, you have to come for screening. Other causes are when you are experiencing fever. Other signs when you are experiencing symptoms, when you are experiencing fever. That means you're having increased body temperature, and you have to also come for screening. If you are coughing and there is chest pain, or if you have had contact with someone that is being treated for TB or is diagnosed of TB, then you have to come for screening. But the main ones that will be of concern to you is when you are having unexplained weight loss, rapid weight loss, you have to come for screening. And if you are coughing too, you have to come.
Okay. If you are coughing too, you have to come. Now we'll talk about the preventive measures.
Okay. So one preventive measures is that people who have been diagnosed of TB should be ready to start with treatment. The treatment takes 6 months duration, or sometimes even up to 12 months, depending on the type of TB that they are screening. If the TB is found in the lungs, which is pulmonary tuberculosis, then your treatment will last for 6 months. That is 2 months for the intensive phase and 4 months for the continuation phase.
Okay.
If it is outside the lungs, which we call extrapulmonary TB, then yours will take about 9 months to 12 months. So we encourage people to adhere to the treatment advice and everything. Another one is that people whose relatives are coughing should encourage them to come and test for TB. And people who also notice that they are having a weight loss, they should equally come for TB screening.
All right, that's fine. So all of these signs, you should take note of them. If you're experiencing any,
and in
you
addition,
visit to the hospital for screening.
And in addition to that, people who have been diagnosed of TB should not be coughing around and spitting around anyhow. They should have a control measures and follow the advice given to them.
Okay, that's fine. Quite another reminder there. Na nuyo mia awo. Lemia atedacho ekpevon bo. Ekpesesendo bo. Ekpesesendo lemia ateda legbo. Tana me de ekpesesendo lema. Since you can speak it, we just do the summary for us in every, so we end it there.
Okay, so let me repeat the theme again. The theme is yes, we can end TB, commit, invest, and deliver.
Okay,
that is this
theme.
Year's theme for TB awareness month.
Okay.
Then me va avec bema. TB donye ekpesese do. Enye do eke mi ata hola megbo. Alona medele do leko le pekpele mi afe samo kula. Mi ata hwe. TB do azigede o metan pone kaba. Ego mene mi le pekpela mi zigede mi abeti en toche mele mi na de draft stock wa le pemachi ambi. Ke mi do mai academy na mi. Do chene mi koji la. Mo TB screening na mi ka mi po doctor ko do ko aglo na mi bo. Mi va hwa machi mi afe me. Ka kini mi afe me chela. Mi akpobe mi amache do mai 1 week la pe academy na mi. Ko me gbo ko pe ka je vava. Aja 100 to ma me brown me ofu me de. Na je no mi ofu me poko ya va. Na va TB unit the side ele municipal ele whole teaching hospital. Na va mi afa unit ko na mi a screen we. Na TB. Those be TB do le mela. Me ka von me do nye ewu na mo. Ka ke do ko nye be ele na o de sekle do doji. Ese do nye be no be TB ele o be jito mela. Alo langs mela. Efia be o be do yo pe kleti ola anye kleti ade. Ka ke no ka le pe ntila pe akpa bubu wela. Na ya be eyina be 9 months alo 12 months. Jinu ashike yina de jinu wiefe.
Okay.
Leke mi wona pe pona TB. Le TB dollar me denu ya le pekpele mi afe sao me alo mi afe ho me we ya ka toela atanpo TB. Na mi la machiji ka kemele o da machi e pese oji ola atanpo TB. Alo na mi no plan mi le ho me mo ya seki o gbolo na mi be mi awo. E mi le sema o la ya che mi atanpo TB. Ata sigede na me de ka le TB le fo mi emela. Ape bulbo betila mi screen na mi. Alo mi wona do ponda mi memele mi anu la mi akomi dara machiji for 3 months. Amechichi otola ami amache gbede zideka le kosira de kame va se de leti eton de viotola kwa wano mi gbese agbe va se de leti eton plus we mi ba poko nu ase ke mi na mi le pepele mi agbochela mi aka ho TB doya.
Okay. All right, thank you. Akpeka de no ikeji ne gavai edonku nami me penya selao ndi yakude ekpe sese oti enye tuberculosis ta leti ya penke kubla vivo enelia yenye nkeke ike odo dadanyi waga ko awo wana tohe de dolele kucheche ya me se afeto America cho whole teaching hospital Marius Mote Sepenu ye no mi agbo ndia fine
Eye kokpede nu a elebe mi a nyebe ifie TB do alo pesesendo a meka nye yomekpe enye fa ye ono yobe yomekpe go ma machimele ni alo menya nu chonu e mai mesibo ta fifie la machile ni Tame kanye yo mekpe olu na selu.
All right. Akpe.
Yo.
the various portals that we have in the country. 7:36 is the time. And also remember, for us to be able to come your way, we have been proudly supported by a few companies, Salaria, iMed, and Optical Suppliers. They provide services, comprehensive eye examination and treatment of eye conditions, dispensing of spectacles and contact lenses, corporate screening and outreach services, visual field examination, and also the auto refraction or keratometry. They have in stock quality spectacle frames for men, children, and women. They have photochromic lenses and blue lenses. They have sunshades, contact lenses, and lens solution. Our drivers, the DVLA has given them the accreditation. So if you want to acquire a new license or renew existing ones, you can visit their offices at Ho Max International Building. They're not far away from the regional office of NHIS, and in Denu, the first floor of Ayuvo Story Building, and in Accra, we're also behind at Malikem Hospital behind Zoom Lion headquarters, West Trasacco. They are open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., holidays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Insurances that they accept are Glyco Health Care, Ghana Association of Bankers Health Insurance, Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, Nationwide Health Insurance, Apex Health Insurance, among others. Call 0544 927 175. 0544 927 175. And also Vokia Foods. You when you mayo hemia pe Tom Brown wo ndikpa jipe nududu ndo yo fien yo. Mi akpo millet flour, house cocoa flour. Ekwek be mi blayo bakpele face the wall. Wo sogbo eye FDA da CDG be enyo. Gede woje la goti mebe fimai opedo wopele. Achasi kpele eye apoka le 057 0537 0537 683 051 0537 783 051. Vokia Food, savor the taste of tradition for breakfast, lunch, and dinner effortlessly. All right, so we will now take you to our portals. Mi apenya so mi akplo mi agede afiyo mi akpo mi apenya jojo yo mi ahede go na minzia mi akplo mi agede fa don kuje ba akpo mi le Facebook Global 105.1. Enye do hati yo akpede unu nye hena akpaya he heaven am ya frank le Walter.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay.
All right.
Great.
Okay. And good morning to all our listeners as well. I mean, today is Wednesday, right? Midweek. And so we are still here to serve the community, giving you all the credible information that you need to hear. And we are ready for you this morning. So if you allow me, let me just go straight to the newspapers. So let me give you a big story here on the new Crusading Guide. There's a big story. I'm sure you should really, really want to read more on this. Anas wins $18 million against Kennedy at Japan in U.S. SS County 30 mil defamation case. And so Anas has won that case, and Kennedy at Japan is in a big hot water right now. I wish him all the best. I hope he can find that money to pay. Your head is rich. Yes, and also maybe you can find that story on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. You buy the paper, you read more. I have some details to share with you as well. And still on the Crusading Guide newspaper, budget allocation shows NDC not interested in development upon Nkrumah. Yes, I really wish to know what exactly he means by that. And NDC foot soldiers reject Air Commanders Ajiman Frimpong appointment. All right, so NDC foot soldiers are not really happy about that appointment. We'll see how that issue runs out. And also still on the New Crusading Guide newspaper, Ghana Bauxite Paris wrongdoing in OPCL deal, and that story is on the New Crusading Guide newspaper. And quickly, let me move you to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. OPCL's 80% accusation in our company was legal. That's Ghana Bauxite Company saying this on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Japan to contest MPP 2028 slot. We see how that goes, and I wish him all the best as he suffers that defamation case. Bawumia's digitalization agenda proven right. That's coming from Franklin Kujo, and that's on the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Before I let Frank in, let me give you a quick one on the Daily Guide newspaper. Daily Guide says Ashanti Council of State police reviewing CCTV footage. That's coming from the Interior Minister. And also, Attorney General drops Bakavoma treason felony charges. And he has been making some complaints that he has lost his doctorate, opportunity to become a doctor. And he's going to make sure that he gets that money back from government. I don't know how he's going to run out. Let's wait and see. And the Daily Guide is also reporting that Ghana Bauxite Company defend OPCL accusation. And finally, on the Daily Guide newspaper, RTI Commission imposes 100,000 Ghana cedi fine on National Signal Bureau.
Okay, quickly, let me also take you to the Daily Post. Daily Post, I have an issue here concerning Ghana Water. It's a rot at Ghana Water Company. Billions of cedis and millions of dollars being stolen by directors and Egyptian contractor through the purchase of street lights. So they are the reason why we are going through this water crisis. We are facing this water crisis. The Council of State member Kwame Gatanko hosts discussion with U.S. the delegation led by Alex Disumi, Vice President of all mayors in the U.S. And then the Daily Statesman, NDC not committed to development. Upon Nkrumah lament inadequate budgetary allocation for critical sectors, and one of those critical sectors they are talking about is the agri sector. They say the amount they have allocated for it is not enough. Then Franklin Kujo is also speaking concerning the Bawumia's digitalization. He said, well, all the digitalization agenda campaign is now making some sense. And then the Daily Analyst, Ajosafo is also here. Say, I don't regret abstaining from e-levy vote. Ajosafo break the silence and again give some jab to Honorable Makekwe, former speaker. He said Makekwe should probe Sans abysmal performance. Makekwe Jr. The Sans is Makekwe Jr. So he should probe the abysmal performance. Then we diversify Ghana economy with digitalization. Gideon Boaku assets. That is on the front page of the Daily Analyst.
All right, so the Daily Post newspaper is in a U.S. court award Anas Arimiyao Anas $80 million in defamation case against Kennedy Japan. So I want to give you that detail here, and Ghana Web is reporting, giving us some details about what exactly this whole thing is all about. So an Essex County jury has awarded investigative journalist Anas Arimiyao Anas $18 million in a defamation suit case against Kennedy Japan, former member of parliament for Asin Central. So responding on the ruling in a statement on March 18th, 2025, Anas described his victory as resounding, affirming that falsehood and character assassination have no place in society. So this is his word. He said, I stand before you today with a profound sense of vindication and defamation and determination. Yesterday in the Essex County Superior Court in New Jersey, an 8-member jury delivered an unanimous verdict finding Kennedy Japan, a former member of the Ghanaian parliament, liable for defamation and awarding damages of $18 million. These damages arise from statement he made following the airing of the BBC documentary on corruption, Betraying the Game. And if you can remember, that documentary came out on the 28th of October 2028. If your mind sets you back well, you will recount. So this decision is not merely a legal triumph, it is a resounding affirmation that falsehood and character assassination have no place in our society. And this is a very interesting story I believe all Ghanaians should be aware of. And we've heard allegedly Canada Japan accusing Anas Sarimi after this documentary that he's a criminal, he's an extortionist, he's a lot of words that he's used against Anas Sarimi. And of course, Anas Sarimi sent this case to the Accra High Court, and it was presided over by Justice Eric Barr, and he's dismissed the case against Anas Sarimi and also called him criminal. And this case has not ended there. I think Yolin Kulendi also described that as an unfair judgment. We saw that case in court now in New Jersey. And in fact, when you get to the story, I've listened to the lawyers of Anas Sarimi. They said they wanted to charge $30 million. And for each count, $30 million. So that means they are supposed to, Anas is supposed to charge Canada Japan $90 million. That was the initial agreement. But the lawyers came to a conclusion to reduce it to $18 million for Canada Japan. All right. So he's still pleading that they should reduce the money for $10,000. But the judge refused that claim of 10,000. So Anas Sarimi is winning that case. Canada Japan. People are wondering how he's going to get the money from $18 million. It's a huge sum of money. And so we are going to see how this story goes. But interestingly, this issue should go a long way to advise all Ghanaians about certain statements that we make about people. It can go a long way to hunt you. And also describing our judicial system here in Ghana, I mean, it goes a long way to question us, to see how effective our judicial system is. Well, it's the same issue that was brought to court and has been dismissed, names calling here and there, and us was called to come and, remove his marks here and there, all the issues. And he has won the case in the U.S. So what happened to us here? Why didn't we track this whole issue and come to a conclusion that somebody outside this country will be giving us justice? I mean, interesting time ahead. Let's really put our eye on this.
The fellow,
$80 million. He can pay it.
Yes.
He says he's more than his worth is more than that.
let me away from the call. Let me take you to the Business and Financial Times. There's this call on Okada business some time ago. It's back. So Okada commercialization begins. So with a priority on safety, inclusivity, and innovation. So I wonder what is the innovation. So anyway, we
So they're going to be registering them.
Uh,
They're going to be showing them how to be on the road as motorcyclists.
well, then there is one man who is also speaking here by the city, Ni Amakwe. Does it ring a bell? Ni Amakwe, the owner of Curriculum Bills. Yes. So he said local production remains our only hope to stabilize city. So he is looking forward to invest in the local businesses. So GDP growth projected to hit 5.4%. Standard Bank is saying that. Then EcoBank is also saying something. Say they spend $84 million on women empowerment. That is it. So that is from
$8 million.
yes, $84 million for women empowerment. So they want the women to bypass everybody. Then let me quickly take you to the Daily Graphic. Agri budget too small for impact. CEO has said at PwC post budget forum. That's what they are saying. And they said ISSER also said 2025 budget inspires hope. That's on the front page of the Daily Graphic. The Informer. Present yourself for OSP investigation. Legal expert advice of Oriata. Then on the same front page, said Dampare's achievement and parallel. Security dons are saying this. Then from Ghana Statistical Service, say 2024 GDP growth not Galamsey induced. Yes, as been stated in the budget, that the growth is induced by Galamsey Statistical Service. No. Then my last paper here is the Daily Searchlight. Muntaka Gove on deployment of NIB to arrest Ekotia MP. Yes, that is on the front page of the Daily Searchlight.
51 minutes or 7 is the time. You're still listening to the Global Morning Show. Away from the papers, taking you to the portals. My Joy Online will reduce fares if fuel drops to 12 cedis per litre. GPRTU assures commuters politicians cannot take media for granted. Anas declares after U.S. court victory over Kennedy in Japan. Once again, what is happening? I just yesterday brought you the story on Ahmed Swale, where the FBI would have to set in and helping to arrest 2 people in connection to his death. And again, it is still the U.S. would have to come in for the needful to be done. Some NPP members orchestrated my primaries defeat despite my apology. I stated the honorable former member for Dom Kwabenya is back in the news. And she has been speaking, of course, in opposition and out of power, quite a number of things. She will be automatically will permit her to put out a lot of things out there. And I fully endorse purchase of gold to stabilize CD. John Jinapor says, and U.S. court awards $18 million in defamation suit against Kennedy, Japan, and one other. Truth prevails, and as hails $18 million U.S. court victory against Kennedy Japan for defamation. And we have the full list of nominees for 2025 Telecel Ghana Music Awards. And bailout snatching Carlos Ahenkra saved NPP from disgrace. I just suffer. What does she mean by that? I'll be back here and tell you the detail. And COPEC accuses OMCs of short-handing consumers for not implementing full cuts in fuel prices. So this thing that we say people deliberately sabotages government, it's in place according to what the accusation COPEC is leveling against the OMCs.
Yes.
If you are to implement some policies that will help our drivers to at least give a sign of relief at the pumps, and you are holding on to those policies, that's a full cut in fuel prices, then what are you trying to the picture you're trying to paint for this government 71 days into the administration? What is your business in this one? Would World Cup 2026 qualify to get full house ahead of Chad Madagascar games? I don't regret abstaining from e-levy vote. And I started with this particular revelation from the honorable member, and calling on Parliament to be able to bring to the public the woman who represented her on the very day of the vetting in voting in Parliament for the implementation, for the NPP then majority getting the number to vote for the e-levy to be implemented. The woman, her picture is still there. It's just going to be an honorable thing for the 9th Parliament to do something about it. But as we know them to be, I'm hopeful that they might, or again, I'm not so in expectation that they'll do anything about it too. Because here we are. Okpola yon to okpola medeko get a parliament. Kemi o dova chiche na mi obe security le parliament la menu. Ne yoga to koji chena yodo kiwe. Meanwhile, people are thinking about factories. Ele you had the factory, so that I need to come if you know we are thinking of building a hospital for our parliamentarians. We have numbers of hospitals around. So we have a Jeddah 111, which has not even been one. It's not in full operation. Let me some of the details on My Joy Online and taking you to the business front. We have fuel price reduction, petrol selling at 14 Ghana cedis, 37 pesos, and diesel 15 Ghana cedis, 67 pesos. Continuity. Scrapping of news and taxes poses risk to continuity. Scrapping of news and taxes poses risk to government's revenue targets. That's from Deloitte after they said the budget is business friendly. All right, so we'll be back with a few of the detail of the earlier headlines.
All right, so giving some details here on the Ghana Web as well. If elections is coming from Apejo Makin, if elections are held today, NDC will lose. And the minority leader in Parliament, Alexander Kwame Apejo Makin, has stated that the 3-month-old National Democratic Congress government would suffer a massive defeat if another election were held in Ghana today. Speaking on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, March 18, 2025, the minority leader accused the government of John Dramani Mahama of failing to keep his promises to the Ghanaian people. While daring the NDC to an election contest, the new patriotic MPP member said the ruling party will not only lose a presidential election in such an instant, but will also suffer a massive defeat in parliamentary contest. I think that it's too early for this. Apejo Makin should reserve this comment for maybe at least 2 years to come for him to say this, because it's just 3 months into elections, after elections, and you are saying now they are going to lose. It doesn't really hold water for us. Let's really face critical issues.
Hold water for you.
It doesn't hold water for me, because
Right after the declaration, right after election, the next day, campaign starts for another party. So
But
say
this
it
is
doesn't
bad.
hold for you.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't hold
he's
for
a
me
politician
because-
and he's speaking as a politician.
yes.
So that's what all of them says it. It wouldn't be a surprise for him to start saying at this time that they are going to, the NDC is going to lose. It's not a crime at all
It's not a
for him to
surprise,
say.
but for me, it doesn't
But-
hold water for me.
Yes,
Because-
that's to you.
Yeah,
So
because
don't lump all of us
yeah,
in
because I have a
as-
reason why I said it doesn't hold water for me. Because this is just a very young government, 3 months after election,
And
budgets
it
have
is
just
allowed. They are politicians.
budgets. Yeah, I mean,
If I am
it's
saying
allowed.
that,
It's allowed for him to say whatever he wants to say.
After elections, what am I expecting? It's the next election. So into 3 months into an administration's, rulings or dealings, it is just to allow the politicians to do their politics.
Yeah, it's a politic fair. I don't have any problem with him making statement like the NDC is going to lose. But I'm still saying, I'm still holding to the point that that statement doesn't hold water for me. Well, this is just a budget that has been released. We have not even seen the implementation of the budget yet. We have not even seen the implementation of the policies yet. The promises that they've made, we have not even seen the implementations of them yet. So why would he hold on? So that we track the NDC by their promises. This and that. Are they able to deliver? If they are not able to deliver, that's where we make comments. And that's why we can also agree that they will lose. But for this time, this comment, politically fair. But
Might be too early,
yeah,
but still allow
politically
for them
fair.
to,
And I still say, I just said it's
as
too early. for
politicians,
this.
it
It's
is
just
not too early for them since the 2028 might seems far, but it's just in the corner. What do I do
They should-
to make my party popular
They should focus
ahead
on
of
the
the
2028.
2028
They should focus on the
elections?
2028 election. Yes. And all right.
Okay, let me take you to the sitting newsroom. Abena Osei Asare criticizes Mahama for replacing Year of Return with Black Star Experience. Same content, different name. So, former Finance Minister Abena Osei Asare has criticized the Mahama administration for replacing the Year of Return initiative with the Black Star Experience. The Year of Return launched in 2019 under the Akufo-Addo administration commemorate 400 years since the first enslaved African arrived in Virginia, USA, and successfully boosted tourism by inviting the African diaspora to Ghana to visit Ghana. Osei Asare expressed her concern during a debate on the 2025 budget on Tuesday, March 18th, stating that the current government is merely rebranding existing initiatives without introducing new policies. The Black Star Experience is a cultural and tourism initiative introduced by the John Mahama administration, aiming to position Ghana as a premier destination for African heritage and creative arts. It seeks to build upon the success of previous initiatives like the Year of Return and Beyond the Return campaign, which attract thousands of people of African descent to Ghana. She remarks, one thing I also quote, one thing I also find interesting is that my people on the other side, majority, they come up with fanciful names for some existing initiative. Everybody knows the year of return in the diaspora is a big thing. They claim they want to reset the economy and they change it to Black Star Experience. It's interesting. Year of return has come. Year of return has more meaning than Black Star Experience. What is the meaning of that? Unquote. Basically, she's just having problem with the change of name and the rest.
Anyway, I think yesterday I think we were asking about how our MPs are getting things done in our communities. So yesterday, I think we have some story about the road minister visiting the Alavanyo community in my constituency, and the road minister was there, and conversations were had, and we understand there's going to be construction of roads within Hohwe Township, the Fodome Road to the main town is going to be constructed. The road from Kwati down to Hohwe, that road is very terrible. If you've traveled to that road, on that road, you know what I'm talking about. That road is going to be also be awarded. So I think work is in progress. I think more grace to the elbow of Olanyo Chepo. I think we should.
I'm not asking what a sector minister has gone to your constituency to undertake as his responsibility as a sector minister. What your MP?
That's what I'm saying. That
it's not
at
your
the point
MP
in
that
time,
that has gone to. It's the regional, the road minister. So what is your MP doing? What has he undertaken so far?
Let me send you back to a time where Wolanyo came into office. He made us know that he's in talks with the road minister. He had to engage him on a series of occasions on the roads in Hohwe constituency. So he said there has been an engagement earlier before he came in there. So we can say that we can attribute that conversation or that visit to his meeting with the road minister. So I think that one way or the other, the lobby is going on. We wish him all the best. Hohwe should come up.
What has he embarked on as an MP?
That is what we are saying, that the lobby has just begun. He has lobbied. And
we heard
conversations.
The Magbana also telling his people which stretch will be constructed. Aside that, other things were said.
So yeah, that's why I'm saying that.
Apart from the sector minister coming out with the ministry, the engineers, highways, and all of that to the street because roads must be constructed, and he's trying to prioritize some roads. Chair or how MP here, Frank.
This conversation. Over the years, you know my position on this. Honestly, I know that MPs, they are there in the house.
What has your MP done?
When
he came to your constituency, did he tell you he's a lawmaker alone?
Which constituency do you belong?
So honestly,
which constituency?
Oh, I voted in Ho Central the last time, but
yesterday you said you have a lot. Yes, of constituencies.
Yes, but going back to my books, getting the note I've made so far, I know MP is supposed to be a lawmaker. They're supposed to sit in the parliament.
What has your MP done?
So far, at office. And seriously, honestly, this is not the kind of thing I would like to. Seriously, I don't get it. But MP never just single fly. You work it. So far, all the committee me.
Quarterly.
Yes.
Not the bill, the parliament. No work, the parliament. You have lobbying skills. So let's see. Wawake. And let's see if Pele nkeke del. Ya do me viole babia la ba mero gender wa. Be lay me atochere jazon legia.
Okay, so to do massive things. We won't say try and my MP. We want to do. So
what are the massive things?
It will come. It will come. Give us up 3 months. It will come.
Wow,
I'm
Mr.
serious.
Plumpy, you have a mother MP and you
Yeah.
have an adopted MP.
Yes,
So I don't know which of them you are talking about
the
anyway.
mother MP 3 months to come. The adopted one will also come in 3 months. All of them. But for now, we are concentrating on making laws. A law that will make
How many
us.
bills have been laid so far?
And no, it's okay. So far, the budget things are going for now. So it is
Is the
after
emergency bills, that's
approving.
the e-levies and then
Yeah.
the
So after approving all those things, then other things will follow.
the NHIL and capping it, so the bills have to,
All
the
this-
laws have to be
it will
laid
come.
back. NHIL.
Uh-huh. Don't worry. Don't. You see, it's
We
too
have
early.
sang the songs for so many years,
And
and the
so,
Volta region is still the same.
Eya Kim Egbolo
This is
Bede.
a region where almost all the MPs until the 2020 election that they saw a different
one,
political
yeah.
party
Taking
MP in
one
parliament.
seat.
Gakobete over the years, 30 years and above, you're the Deosion Kwe, Chiejo.
Ekpo Bede already. Eya Kim Egbolo Bede. Nuenye be capacity. Ne Eya Kim Egbolo Bede. Ne Ekpo Bede yon kume agolobo tai. Ya javi gome kabai. Eya chele boy. So I'm going to hele chocho fifi do ayo yo jibe no javi go. Mi avi me didiele mi agbo afi mi je fafa go mo.
Okay.
So definitely you hear of us.
Mm.
Seriously. We are whole central people.
You're speaking for Ho West.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I thought Ho West.
Oh no.
Or
Ho West.
maybe-
I didn't vote there last election, even though originally I'm from Ho West. But I voted here the last election.
Former Domiko Abenya Member of Parliament, Ajua Sarah Safo, has stated that the New Patriotic Party should be grateful to former Tema West MP Carlos Ahenkra for saving the party's reputation during the election of the 8th Speaker of Parliament. Speaking in an interview, Ajua Safo explained that Ahenkra's controversial decision to snatch and choose some of the ballot papers helped prevent a major embarrassment for the party. What's the embarrassment? That's what I'm exactly looking for. And I'm quoting her words: "Why do we think Carlos went to snatch the papers and destroy them? He knew that if the number of no votes had been revealed, it would have been a disgrace for the NPP. So he had to act swiftly, but he suffered for it," she
Yes.
said. Unquote. Safo was responding to rumors suggesting she had voted against Professor Aaron Michael Quay, the then Speaker of Parliament. She vehemently denied these claims, calling them vile rumors and insisting that she had no reason to vote against Quay. The former deputy majority leader revealed, okay, so let me take this one first. Even during the primaries, the issue came up, but I dared the NPP leadership to come out and confirm that only 2 people voted against Professor Okwe. It is not true, she said. The former deputy majority leader revealed that there were tensions among MPs before the election of the speaker. In light of this, they reached out to President Akufo-Addo for guidance on potentially proposing a second candidate for the position. Then we
Lamentations.
wanted the then president to propose at least 3 names so the MPs could select their preferred candidate. The writings were clear on the wall, and they were not silent about their displeasure, she noted. Ajosafo emphasized that she was dedicated to her responsibilities and pointed out that if she had intended to vote against Professor Okwe, she would have chosen to avoid the stress of the situation entirely. Recounting the chaotic process, she noted that Speaker Alban Bagbin was not elected due to the votes cast, but consensus between both sides.
It is because they don't have a choice. That's why they went into a consensus.
Analysis, baby.
Seriously, and at that time, Ejosafo, Antonia have a problem. So, you play your party, one. She's supposed to be, I think she was a deputy majority leader. Then all of a sudden she was removed. Fimea replaced with Afenyo Makin. Fimea Jerejo Gomechwe. And I also heard certain things that she has been mishandled in the Flagstaff House. Some rape case issue all went on, and those
And you are the
issues
only one who heard those
and
cases.
and those issues have not been addressed by the president. So you see, they honestly, I would say Ajasafo is part of the defeat. It's part of the issue that caused the massive defeat to MPP. Seriously.
How would you say that? When you go to the street, I'm not sure anybody will remember Adjasafo. They tell you the hardship they were facing.
Aside,
Just that
aside
the
that
former
one,
majority-
aside that within the party, a lot of things happen. Look at the way
If you
she
said Don
vacated.
Kwabenya as a
She vacated.
constituency, it's okay, but for you to generalize it to the
but-
defeat of the NPP, she can't know where any
But
of the
don't you think
polls
people?
conducted.
But don't you think people across other
I'm
constituencies
telling
also?
you, the polls conducted, she came nowhere near any of those polls, and the other revelations we are hearing.
So you thought the
There were-
polls are
So when the inflation was caused
Genuine.
by Adwa Sarah, the inflation in the country under the NPP government was
Okay.
because of Adwa Sarah. Is that what you are telling
she
us?
was not
The
in the, she was
utility-
not in the house to vote on some of the bills.
and
Some
she
of
didn't
the,
vote for the bill.
apart from the
That
e-levy,
is
there are a
the
lot of
e-levy.
bills that have been laid. She has not been there to participate.
So
And
how has she not been in parliament to be a part of the bill? What we know, apart from the e-levy, and we had the issue of absenteeism, Iko dealt with together with the other MP. So, Opete, I still want you to explain to us, not just throwing words there, how she was part of the NDC's general defeat in the 2024 election.
Okay, so this is it. Her behavior in asking
How has this
absent.
affected the people of Ho Central?
Okay, so this is it. As an MPP member, let me say MPP member who heard that. Oh, I just have.
Are you an MPP member?
So I said I'm not, but as an MPP member in the constituency here, who Asebe Ajasafo Mele floor of parliament, I contribute to a debate that will make the party grow here, get popularity here. Ajasafo la brochi la fuku la gaoho la dudu, and it is living good. Meanwhile, dolesi wawa lefi. Don't you think a medal lefi a change a person so? And the next person who would like to join say, oh, look at the joy, quickly the person will
Let's
reverse.
face the reality.
Okay, so
Reasons why Ghanaians voted are so clear out there.
apart from those
And I'm
ones, there
telling
are
you,
other issues
Adwa
too.
Safo, her own defeat, if you say her actions caused her own defeat, I'm sure people will agree with you. And her own defeat at Dom Kwabenya, an entire defeat of the NDC at Dom MPP at Dom Kwabenya Day. I am sure generalizing is where you may
It's
get
also
it
added
because
the general one.
the free SHS, Manuela Adwa Safo, which was a gender minister.
Oh, no, apart
school
from
feeding,
that's
now,
why I say
work
apart from those issues, apart from bread and butter issues, Ayalefufu. But within the party and how she made the party unpopular, that's what I'm talking about.
within the party, so
Yes.
limit it to the party, not to the rest of
No.
the thousands and millions of Ghanaians who voted.
But I like the way ABP are realizing what caused their
It's not as if they don't know. They know.
it
The
looks as
people
if they are
people
now-
conducted polls for them, people do research for them, and they just decided to ignore some of the key factors, some of the key things
The
that.
polls, even before the election from the Flagstaff House itself,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with Ajasafo.
But I mean, they will not say it. They will not.
Even that one,
will
they
not
were
put
hiding it. Has to do with the e-levy plenu yobete that it was clear. Like just as you said, all the polls. So now the very things they can cause over defeat.
Me,
That.
what I want her to come and say, the reason why she decided to leave her job, you went to lobby, they voted for you, and you leave the house, go and stay in
We are
America.
not enough with the
that's
explanation given earlier that
no,
has
no,
to
no,
do
no.
with
Hey,
personal.
never personal.
Some things are confidential. It's not everything you put out there,
To the-
even though you might be an MP.
To the extent that they even gave an invitation to face the privileged committee, and she refused to show up. Personal, and she just consumed the taxpayers' money just like that.
Anyway,
So there are so many issues that contributed to their loss. And I believe that as they are realizing it now, I don't know whether they realized it before, but as they are realizing it now, it's a good thing. For you to go forward to exceed, you need to know where your mistakes, your wrongs were, so they can correct it. Ajasafo and all those people, I know all of them are coming out to say this person, this and that. But sometimes I wonder whether they did not realize this at the beginning. What prevented them from realizing this and tackling it at the beginning? For you to just let it rot to this time, for you to now come and be giving us this person,
It will again
Well,
happen
they
in the
should-
NDC
Yes.
if they should. So it's
Actually,
it's
this
a normal
check
thing
body,
when you lose a competition. That is where you try to know what the issues are. But whilst you are there, if you bell hell me already like now I'm a role make a mile.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
That's the problem of almost all of that thing.
That's their problem.
Even
But,
the mushroom small
yeah.
political parties,
You're
they're also
sure
not
one,
going out there and saying, "I can't go almost so but I'm in make our blames because almost so but I'm
The John Mahama 20, we hear of lean horse. That's the what those
so
some of the
after the
blame game.
debate, before you come back to
I heard John Mahama
reality.
on the stage said some people within the party want him to go out of the presidency.
but currently
Those
to
things are all
there
there.
are a lot of discomfort in the appointment of some of his appointees.
Yeah.
And issues about who is going to be the next president. You had the name of Julius Deborah.
Yes.
You had the name of the chairman, the national chairman. You had the name of the education minister. You had the name of some other individuals. Yobe, Elewa. So there's this write-up I came across that's trying to, touch on the issue, draw the attention of the president to the fact that the grassroots are not happy. Recently is the appointment of the woman Obioba Dako Opoku. First, we have a section that are applauding the president for her appointment. We have another section who are also not happy. But many deputy, America have a deputized.
Thank you.
Because she has, invested so much
In the
and,
party.
in the party. So we're having, according to a few people, you realize that even Namonya Foko appointment in Yaji Kole lately, it's all about appointment. I also want to get something. I keep on asking, appointments vacancy already nene ye. Na mesia mejibe no tia ye de. Emeweke wacho, emeke macho. Some people just need to sacrifice. But before Amedowa sacrifice, I have an door, their dedication, their loyalty.
Honestly, me, I am on the view where okay, this person has invested so much and only appointment. That is the beginning of the corruption. Nunca appoint never recoup every investment.
Rewarding loyalty.
Who does that? How would
but
the country
if
grow?
If the person is capable, it doesn't make
Fine,
anything.
apart from
If
the
person is
capability,
and he
but
has
why
worked,
would they?
you don't
Why
want
would
to-
they use the term? He or she has invested heavily, so we need to reward him with appointment. If you qualify and you are able to occupy the office, why not?
Yes.
Eh?
So yeah.
For example, I would. For
you
example,
qualify,
if for example,
there's nothing wrong with
our own Dr. Jokoto has been appointed Minister of Health, he's a professional, as a doctor. So no doubt about it. No, 10 billion they party on cry still LFS, LSP, man. They make Belenga call crutcher still. No corporation, man. They can make Belen. I can't. Me saw the appointment. I have seen a lot of square pegs in round holes in all these appointments.
You saw people who were not qualified for appointments.
People were
Maybe we should
just
make
people were
it clear
just
so that we-
depending on the previous document, and they are acting as if they know what they are doing in the ministries.
No. But when you say this, somebody will say that you are doing hearsay. Because
Which hearsay?
If
Let's take.
if you
I'll
have
go for education
someone
again.
just mention the person that,
When they
this person
appointed
not qualified.
Honorable Haruna, I have problem with it. I have problem. And seriously, with all these educational dialogues, which of the clear guidelines, so-called the people like that, okay, after the dialogue, this is what we are going to do. Meanwhile, the weird all appointment people like low.
And
yesterday-
right after.
They have to. Yesterday,
makes
I
him-
saw
that
a new
makes him not
calendar.
qualified.
I saw a new academic calendar coming out, still stating that still there will be a double track in line, double track calendar and a single
Abolishing
track.
the double track, you think can be done just in earnest without putting in any infrastructure?
I'm sure we are being unfair to the education minister this morning.
Yeah,
You think it can just happen like
Yes,
that?
it
Even
can
though they are
happen.
calling for abolition.
can
Like,
happen
oh my
because-
God, this is another academic year. Tanova Koyola abolish if you never know ye. A whole way they figure away.
And
So they are piloting with some private schools. They'll be taking 150,000 candidates, hello, students, the SHS. So let's see.
So this is
Maybe
it.
that's the road you
So-
can
so
leading to.
I mentioned here last time there are a senior high school who are still struggling for enrollment figures. Does that mean government did public schools, public senior high schools, so normally, so they are going to add this, the private schools to consume those figures after 1 year? So honestly, me, Gijo, I will tell you every day that some of the appointments I have problem with it. But well, I'm not in government.
Definitely all the
and-
appointments must be na messiamo and manya so na messiamo, but they have been appointed. What about the reshuffling thing we are hearing that if someone is not delivering, what do you know? When is it after 2 years? Is it going to be after a year? In the third year or the fourth year? And again, the MMDC is appointed. The again from the sector minister. We don't know. I may you one name no. But again, to our listeners, they are saying that investigation has shown that the people's name were added without being shortlisted after the constituency vetting.
Can you imagine?
So, I did not anticipate this further delay. Let me pay MMDC so for announcement wawamo. But if this will be from the minister, na mi opete be, you open me koko va de fear be. I'm open call oko pede unko un ke yo menya me yo.
The vetting, no.
Talewa-
The pass, so
Yo no shortlisted okay o ga va to megbe. If be aje be over to megbe.
but
Ne wa yiji nwia ne those constituencies what and the gbe pa open ko anyu ape. Like I am not sure it's going to be possible. But ne wa nyua, should there be another vetting? Alowa yiji sigbe eko. Alowa we internal nya. Ale kudeme. Wa he amo. Like people have their favorite. This thing called favorite. I have my favorite. This one is my favorite. Meanwhile, the domi ba mi never wo. I'm yet le do ba. A do wa ya nyim mi ape favorite lo. And now wa nyim mi ape favorite lo. And lo ma nyim mi ape favorite. So we are looking forward to the announcement of mi ape MMDC so very soon.
Yeah.
The delay.
I think we should have a reform where if inauguration so transition jagomela, these people should also transit like at the same time. So when the president and people are coming in, we are changing government, MCs will also hand over positions to new people immediately.
And honestly, it's not as if they don't even know.
It will start the progress of the
people
municipality.
that will be in the offices. Also, they know them all. They know if you go into the party, you speak to the big men, they'll tell you, this district, we know who will be the DC, we know who will be the MC, but I don't know what is actually delaying the process.
Oh well.
Anyway,
so currently, if you have issue right now,
yes.
if you have issue in the locality, the municipality right now, if you want to go into action, but we don't have MC, so the issue will be hanging up there.
Well, yes, they don't have it, and they don't have it, so it will be hanging. I don't know if the election of our MMDCs will solve this problem.
so
If-
with the
if
old
the
MC to continue
constitutional
his job, as that-
Review committee open Dovo and they are out. We'll see if they have proposed. And Hamoda said we should elect our MMDCs. I think maybe it might go a long way to solve some of these issues.
Yes, and
Might-
I always
might
disagree with
solve.
the election anyway. I would disagree with it 100% because we don't want to see money changing hand things, a lot of acrimony, those things. Have no Jojo, and we
those
don't
are
want to see
part of
all
our
those
politics,
things.
but always is happening.
And
Now
so
and
me, I don't
it's
agree
usually-
with the election. This
Anyway.
election of MMDC. Just like how the president has the power to appoint the ministers, the deputy ministers, the CEOs, they should just go ahead and appoint them just like that. Don't forget, their term of office also ends the same year the presidency goes home. So why the election?
So MCs, do their term of office end immediately the MPs, the president goes home, or they continue till a new MC comes in or a new DC comes in?
We don't have any MC of the former administration working. It doesn't work like that. It depends on the president to decide.
Yes.
The
So-
only
so who hands
president
over?
under which we have that experience is the late John Evans Atta Mills. I was
Alright.
the only person who
allows
allowed
them to work for- yeah.
to work for about some 6 months
Yes.
or so before they were finally fired. And also
we
some
need to change that.
executives also, directors were also in office for some time before they were fired. So it's the
The
discretion
father
of the
of all
president.
slogan.
So, but we
It's
need
the
to find a way
discretion
that
of the president to say, still be there for some time, or immediately I take over, go home, and I look for people to take over your position.
but we should find a way of former MC handing over to the new MC. All of those things should be in
It
a-
doesn't
no,
just work by
That's
just
why they have.
talking. They have to
That's
do
why
with
they
the
have
law.
chief directors there. So
If
in
they are
a
not
way
around,
that-
it doesn't mean the assembly is not
It's not
working.
running.
It's
It's-
one
No,
thing
we
we
know,
need to get.
I mean, but I'm talking about the figure of the person. We know that transition. Then you have to hand over
It's
to
not
somebody.
part of the
Everybody
transition.
comes.
Yes.
Local
But I'm just
governance
wishing,
act, no.
but it should happen
Okay.
that way.
It's a
I'm
whole-
not saying
your
that-
wish. Your wish.
I'm
are
not saying that
horses.
it's-
Your
that's
wish
how it's
from
supposed to be.
Umbo crowd. The next thing they want to do is to elect,
Anyway,
so
Let-
that they just
let-
swear their aim and then bam, your way.
Yes.
let me
wow,
let me give you a detail of a story headline you read about Black Stars. In fact, this is a very interesting story. You said World Cup 2026 quarter qualification. Otoado gets full house ahead of Chad Madagascar game. So the Black Stars held their second training section at Accra Sports Stadium on Tuesday, March 18th, in preparation for their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Chad and Madagascar. The question simply goes that do you still have faith in the Black Stars or not?
Let's leave
a
that
simple
one
question.
to their boots.
But if they did not perform this Friday,
You are
please,
anyway.
we need to dissolve the whole Black Star
No, you see,
and find new players to come
Can we
and play
talk
the
about
game.
Black Stars after the match? Thank you. So the president
They've been
has
breaking our
traveled
hearts. We
out
need to work
again
on
of
this
the country
Black
to
Stars.
Sierra Leone, and we understand again in the brothers' private jet.
yes.
What is happening? Is the brothers' private jet now part of government
machinery?
machinery? Although it's a
So-
support he's rendering to the country, which is which.
So-
We need to find out what
They should
happens
come
to
and
the
tell
presidential
us
jet.
the presidency. We are expecting you,
Before-
Minister of State of Communication.
Yeah,
Uh,
it could be that there's a
please
problem
come
with
out.
the presidential jet.
don't judge for them yet. Please
It could
come
be.
out
Just say it
and
could
just
be.
tell us. We are just calling on them. Nobody is trying to preempt exactly what might be. Just come out and tell us. We want to hear from you directly. Why again the president would have to travel in the brothers' private jets, not Nyato Ogado.
You see,
But the top news, Gbaleme Ho Ho.
yes. Benonyake
They only
Guru.
report the other side of us.
Yes.
They don't tell the good things we do. So we should be measured as leaders. So when these international media houses want to carry our story, they carry the good ones. You can attract investors. So once again, the Minister of Communication of State, Felix,
Kwachi.
you're
So
calling on
maybe you
me.
should just lease the jet to the government for the period where his brother is going to be in power. I'm sure that Mahama loves that jet.
Who will pay for it?
Maybe Mahama loves the
Who will,
Jata jet.
who will be paying for it?
So
That's
the
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 question.
payment that they pay for the presidential jet, whatever services they do for the same thing.
Well,
we-
it's,
so we
it's,
stop
it-
this
I've,
whole
I've
thing
said
of
it before that it's
Jata
not a
and
bad
co.
thing. It's not a bad thing that president traveling his brother's jet, but in whose account? Is it the taxpayers' account?
The bank.
Eh,
I mean, it was a Photoshop.
Over here, cool.
Eh,
But
yeah.
they said that thing, what you're saying about account
Edem
is not in government coffers. They say it doesn't affect any
What
taxpayers' money.
That
what
was
are
the
they
other
talking
one.
about?
That
This
is
one,
what-
the
Okay.
first time he traveled, Ikobe, it does not affect the taxpayers' money. It was because the who assume office came here, but they are assessing the presidential
Jet,
jet.
jet.
And
So
his
my sister
next
was on the
trip,
previous one.
he used the
the
presidential
presidential
jet
jet.
twice. Eke ho guy use the brothers jet. Chega job. All right. 8:31. Yenye miape egame pole miagbo eye ipieto wa agede miaji. Yako wana pakpaya kosede afi political communicators or however kwedeji lega asieke pepo pome. Minoto jinami. Ya trombo fafi. The airwaves 35 on 8 is our time, and my guests are also seated ready for this morning's conversation. We're focusing on pesticides control and management. We have been joined by Wise Cosmos Dagbe and Harry Nuno, all from the Environmental Protection Agency Authority. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, lady.
Have you changed the name on your signpost yet? Because the last time I was there, still agency. So when I call you agency, I'm not wrong.
No, you are wrong.
Ah.
It's a gradual process.
The rebranding is all going.
Yeah. So we have changed our letterheads.
Please use your microphone.
We have changed our letterheads, and we are gradually changing
Every other thing.
any other signage.
Yes. So
Okay.
we are Environmental Protection Authority.
Authority.
Even if our signboard says
Okay.
otherwise.
Yo, until you change your signboard, If I say agency, no qualms. Just accept it in good faith.
We won't.
All
anyway.
right. Thank you for coming and joining for another education today. Pesticide control and management. Before we touch on this morning's topic, just a brief recap on, should I say a recap? Just tell us how the enforcement exercise is going so far. We made some progress. How people coming?
Oh yes, the exercise, it started this month, earlier in March, 2 weeks ago, and it will say so far it's been good. The response from the general public has been positive, if I may say. There are issues, or there are isolated issues of recalcitrant people who have still not responded or reported after receiving the compliance notices, enforcement notices. We are hoping that they fall in line as everybody is also doing, so that the exercise will go as smoothly as we expected, even better. So far so good. The response from the public is good. Those who have been issued letters are trooping in and regularizing their activities. But it doesn't end there. Just coming in and then completing the forms and giving us the details, or having your application received, is not the end. Some people have received some invoices that they are supposed to pay. Some are doing payments, and then some have just left with their invoices without making payment. So those people, their process too is not complete. So we are hoping that in due time they will be able to fulfill their obligations, and then have the environmental permit issued to them to enable them to operate.
That's fine. We'll now shift our attention to what we'll be discussing this morning, and that is the pesticide control and management. What does the law say about that?
Okay, so let's try to understand the word pesticide. Then we move on. So we are saying that pesticides are just substances, or a mixture of substances meant to prevent, destroy, repel, or mitigate any pest. So basically anything that limits or tries to avoid pest invasion is a pesticide. Any substance, whether liquid or solid, that is a pesticide.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
mostly
fine.
they are chemical compounds. So we can talk about those insects, like that are used to kill insects, rodents, fungi, sometimes unwanted weeds. The chemical compounds used, yes, basically that's what pesticide is.
Okay, so those Agbagbalaja fitiki are they also part?
Yes, they are all forms of pesticides.
You know the Agbagbalaja is cockroaches, right?
Yes,
And
roaches.
the mouse.
Yeah,
That's what our brothers, you know.
that's I expanded. I include like killing pests, including rodents and fungi. Unwanted
Do you
weeds.
control them too?
You can control them.
Do you? I mean, your
Outfit?
Yes.
No, so we give license to pesticide applicators. So there are private companies that control pests.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how differently do they, go about their production from the very ones we walk to the shops and buy?
Okay, so with them, I think you are just jumping the gun, but you let me answer. I think with
okay.
them, let's, with them, they apply as an office to get or acquire a license to control pests. So their permit is a little different. So we give them the permit. Those human beings or people who apply the pest are trained specially by the authority, and they are given permits or the authority to be able to apply those pesticides. I don't know if you get me.
I don't want to jump the gun and we'll waste time on that explanation if I'm trying to apologize. Let's come back to what we are doing. So we look at what the pesticides are, and now we can look at the various types and their usage. Can we?
So the various types are the insecticides, the herbicides. So insecticides are basically substance that kills insects. Herbicides are substances that kills unwanted weeds. I don't want to say herbs because herbs can be beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we have the rodenticides and all the sides. So the rodenticides are the substance that kills rodents. So
and the fungicides for fungi. And
so
the other rest.
yeah. So those are the types of pesticides.
Okay. And we use them differently per the name. So you're not going to use herbicide for fungicide. It
Yeah.
doesn't
You
work.
use the right tool for the right job.
Okay.
Yes. You can't apply herbicides in a situation where you are planning to kill fungi. Yes, it won't work.
It won't work.
Yes.
All right. And how do individuals use this pesticides that you might term as an illegality?
So it's illegal if you don't follow what has been inscribed on the bottle, for starters.
Okay.
So it's
Just what has been inscribed on the bottle.
okay. So you don't, if you are using it from, let's say, your mind or the information you've received, contrary to the inscription or the direction labeled on the bottle, then you are not you are using it illegally. I don't know if you get it.
Yes.
So okay, you go ahead. So we are saying that once it is also banned and you are using it illegally. Once you are using it for another purpose, let's say, let me use more. So Indoseed, I think it's a drug, it's a painkiller. It's used to kill mice too, because once it is not for the killing of mice. So when you bring it to the pesticide area, you are using it illegally because it is not meant for that intended purpose. So those three are basically the illegal use of the substance.
But sometimes some people use pesticides to fish. That's an illegal use of it. You are not supposed to use it to fish. That is an illegal. That's
To
one
preserve vegetables and
to
whatever.
preserve vegetables. Some use it to preserve smoked fish.
The salty, the cool bees.
Yes. So now you go to market and you see Kobe, then there are no flies around it.
The mormonies.
The momonies, there are no flies around it. You
So
should
it's
question
not
them.
any technology, the modern way of preserving it.
We are yet to see.
Mostly what our research have shown is that they are using some chemicals, that the pesticides, to preserve them so that flies don't they don't attract flies. The more the flies come, the earlier it gets bad. So as when they use agrochemicals or the pesticides on them, I think they send the flies away. With that way they can keep it for longer. But that's an illegal use. That's a wrong use. These chemicals are not supposed to end up in our systems. So we're using it to fish and to preserve vegetables or fish or food. It's an illegal use.
Okay. So with the fish, one example, a clear example is especially the salty fish.
Yes,
The mormonies,
the smoked, dried fish.
You will not see flies hovering around it as it used to be.
As it used to
those
be.
days when you go to the market, you don't see. Then the indication is that they might, or
There is likelihood.
there's a likelihood
There's a likelihood
they
that
have used a pesticide in preserving. And so with the other ones, and also the fishing, All right. So apart from this two you have mentioned, I've just mentioned, are there any other ways for us to, or you yourself, or any other person to know that this person is applying this pesticides not according to the directives or the instructions given?
You know, we are not trying to say that every Kobe or money in the market without flies has been preserved with pesticide. That's
Of
not
course,
what we
just
are
a
saying.
likelihood.
We are just saying that we have seen, or there's been research into it, and then some people have been seeing humanly. We as people, or as our conscience should speak to us. These are poisonous substances, poisonous chemical compounds that we are using to catch fish and then sell to our fellow humans. How are we supposed to be able to live with such wickedness? It's wickedness. Because we are just selling poison to make money, which shouldn't be the case. I mean, in bid to make a living for ourselves, we don't have to put the life of others in danger. If we kill our customers, who will come and buy the fish for us tomorrow? Or we are just looking for today. So this should be something we should all be looking out for as a person, not business-wise, just looking at the money you can gain from it. By using pesticides to preserve vegetables and come and sell, that is selling poison, and this is it should be it is criminal, and you should be jailed if you are caught to doing
So,
that.
all right, since it's an education we are giving out to the
Yes.
public on the path of the vegetables, before you answer my question, how do I know? Is there anything you can tell us for us to be able, let's do this and this when we get to the market to know if this has been preserved with any pesticides? What should we look out for? Are there anything we can look for?
It's rather unfortunate we can't see with the eye unless it is tested.
Yes, that's the difficulty.
Unless it is lab tested, not
I
yeah.
Visually, we cannot tell what has been used. I mean, but let's take it this way. We go to our farms and we farm, and then we have these produces we want to sell. Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity to keep them so long to sell. So some of us are trying to find means and ways to keep it as long as it can, so that we can sell them off and not have them go bad. In doing that, some people use the pesticides or different agrochemicals to preserve it. There is no way visually you can tell that this particular vegetable has been preserved with agrochemical. They have found their ways to do that, which we can tell unless we have that vegetable tested in the lab. But as earlier submitted, it should appeal to our humanity in a way. If we can't do that, then it's sad. It's very sad.
Okay, we'll move on. And I was asking with the other ones, how do I know, or do I have to report anyone who is not applying the pesticides, as you know, maybe our farmers? Because sometimes people say quite a number of things, you know, about our farmers that are not using this one right, they are not using the other ones right, and it's causing so many problems. I don't know what they have seen, but in the usage or the application of the pesticides, the instructions being given, that is what people say. When the farmers go to the shop, they don't ask how to use it and all of that. So I, as an individual, just seeing somebody using that, any of this pesticides, how do I know that it is being applied according to the instructions given or not?
So when we are issuing a pesticide license for a retail shop, one of the key documentations we see and verify is educational background or certificate of the shop attendant. This is because we expect that the shop attendant is able to read and write, so that when a farmer comes to buy a pesticide or a particular pesticide, you're able to read the instructions to the person and explain the usage, how to use it, the best way to use it effectively to the person. So when the person goes back, the person doesn't use general knowledge or hearsay or information from another farmer the person uses the directive as inscribed on the pesticide, which will bring out the most effective result from using it. So you standing away might not exactly, you have also not seen the label, so you also can't tell the process or the exact usage on the bottle. So you might also not tell. But when you see someone that is using pesticides or agrochemicals to fish, or using pesticide or agrochemicals to preserve fish, or also using it to preserve vegetables, those are things that you can report, because these are things that they are not supposed to do, and you and I know that they are not supposed to do it. We say that they have to be properly dressed in applying this thing because of how poisonous in nature these compounds are. They react in various ways, even on our skins on our skin. So you can imagine if this gets into our system, how they will deteriorate our internal organs in our system. So when you see someone using it in such ways, this you should report immediately to the authorities. Yes.
All right. So, what caution should also the appliers, let me just call them that way, the farmers? It's not just the farmers that use this; we also use this in our homes. What precautionary measures should we put in place when we are applying this?
So ideally, most of these substances should be diluted, so they are concentrates. Let me put it that way. So if you are able to read the label, you will know the best way to apply. It will differ from one pesticide to another. So I can't tell you, oh, all pesticides use maybe 3 gallons of water to dilute it. But mostly, okay, so with normal weedicides, if you don't have a large area, I don't think you should have any business applying weedicides on the weeds. You can just exercise once the area isn't large, so that you reduce the content in the environment. Because with time, the effect will be known.
So we are trying to advocate. I mean, it has come that a lot of our farmers now use the pesticides a lot, but there are situations where we can actually avoid using them. So we actually advise that they do avoid it as much as they can. And if you have to do clearing, just try and do the clearing by yourself. When you do that, you leave the weeds or the dead plants on the farm. It becomes a form of organic manure, also used as mulching and a lot. So you get a lot of benefits when you clear the land rather than using pesticides. These pesticides also, when you apply them, sometimes they go and then kill some of these living organisms in the soil. These organisms helps with soil aeration, which goes in a long way to help plants grow and all that. So to protect ourselves more and to have effective farming, we should try and reduce the usage of pesticide. Basically, it will help everybody, so that we don't put in too much and then the concentration environment becomes too much. Then we start seeing some negative effects.
Okay, so those are exactly what we'll be looking at, the negative effects the concentration when it's too much in the environment will have on us as individuals, maybe the animals and the environment.
Yeah, so some of the negative effects include loss of living organisms in the soil. I just mentioned that these organisms, as I said earlier, they also do their part in soil nutrients. So if we don't have them in there, we are lacking some form of soil nutrients, which will later lead to maybe low productivity of your farm produce. You don't get enough as you used to. Sometimes on human beings, we have skin issues when we get into contact with this chemical. That's why you're supposed to wear overalls to cover your whole body and wear respiratory masks, so that you don't inhale these chemicals as much, substances or these pesticides as much, because when you do, then you are bringing in poisonous substances into your system. It will lead to some respiratory issues. then when it is digested into our system. So all chemicals, you realize that it's written on it to keep away from children, keep out of reach of children. And when you open it, there is a way you are supposed to use it and to keep it so that you don't leave it like that and then someone will come and use it. That's why we also, when we go to pesticide shops and we see anybody decanting the chemicals or pouring it out of the original bottle into another bottle, we seize those things and we reprimand the person, and the person goes through some form of penalty. You get to pay some form of penalty for doing that. So various health implications are considered when we are talking about getting in contact with these chemical substances.
Okay, so I'd like to add that when we use these pesticides illegally or a lot, the environment that you are introducing the pesticides become immune to the substance, just like you are taking antibiotics. With time, your system will not, or the antibiotics will not work in your system anymore because the body has developed some immune to it. So basically, the excess use of or the illegal use of pesticides will make the environment resist its potency.
Okay, so that'll be it for this morning on our topic pesticide control and management. We look at what pesticides are, the types, the various types, the illegal usage, and the effects, the negative effects it has on the environment, on us, and the rest. We're back again next week, Wednesday. We'll continue with another topic, or probably this very one again. And gentlemen from the Environmental Protection Agency were here. We heard from Wise Cosmos Dagbe and also Harry Nunu. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Have a good day. commercial break and the musical break as well. I will now take you to the market and recommending MGM Estates Limited to you. It's the only place for the best cool store to buy the freshest meat, poultry, and seafood at an affordable price. They offer the juiciest beef, most tender whole chicken, drumstick, and wings, and tastiest tilapia, shrimp, and salmon. Succulent pork even comes from their own farm and give free delivery within whole to your bar, restaurant, school, work, church, and home. And for bulk purchase, you can call them on 055 451 055 451 9785. Meet them on Mondays to Saturdays opposite Mirage. MGN Estates, your meat, poultry, and seafood depot. Precious guaranteed, quality is assured. Experience the difference. And at Victor Electronics, enjoy up to 40% off our top innovative brands. We have Medar, we have Samsung, TCL, Nafsco, Roche, West Point, Asano Move, LG, Zara, Roche, and many more from the 3rd to the 31st. This is running an end. So if you haven't, taken a chance to visit Victor Electronics yet, do well to do that by locating their showrooms RTC near JCB Bank, Market Top, Civic Center close to NIB and adjacent MTN office. There is free delivery on selected items with up to 1 year guarantee and after sales support. All Victor Electronics on the following numbers: 0242 957 0242 959 795, 0242 959 795, or 0552 412 123. Big friend, mi apenya slow. Fi ke mi akpo hokba zingi vovo ole mi akpo snap lock alo self lock R25 ikeganye IBR 81 or IDT mi akpo tile shit so ole wogbo yo ga wana premium coated 55% housing solo si aluminum coated bakle aluminum plain sheet so kata you over adodu metowe ake wome eho asio nene make wo wana free estimate ne elege kuleta kradi no to amia wa kuvu ako agbao ayina ikema ahefe deke de ejiu apo metal trusses roofing shit so abale make bladongo ene olo si vovo amadede ikeneji bakpeleti treme ikeneji katan le wosi ceiling joist ple POP cement so katan nenya get a Rockstars roofing shit toji ameyu oda hana NIB le honu to me la fi NIB gadrado fa kwa mi akpo le Rockstars roofing system to le fema yo le 0592 500 501 0592 500 501.
And you belong to me. I belong to you. You belong to me. And you belong to me.
Agromonti, your one-stop agri supermarket. You're into the sales and importation of both organic and inorganic
Everything taken into account, I believe my government did very, very well for our country.
Well, let me say that Ghana has been lucky because over the years, we've attempted to lay a solid foundation for rapid economic growth. I believe that now we are at the takeoff stage.
Ghana itself has been a model of democracy. From 1992, we adopted a new constitution. We've held 6 successful elections. In the last election, we had an election dispute. It was referred to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court adjudicated it, and we've continued to move forward.
I ask you to be citizens, not spectators, citizens, not subjects, responsible citizens, building your communities and our nation.
Join the global conversation on the Global Morning Show.
Oh my God! I tell you, this song is a hit before